Good evening, Pokemon fans! Crobat for the win of the token minorities here today with episode 3 of Around the Rhyhorn. Now, if you haven't seen week 2's results, I recommend you go watch those games, or at least see what the results are, so you kind of have an idea of what we're talking about here. So, prior to starting this episode, just want to make one comment really quickly. I noticed last week there seemed to be a little bit of hate on Around the Rhyhorn. I think because we made some comments at a couple of people who had said that we copied the GBA, and I clarified and said no, we did not, because it was my show and I gave Jolt the approval to use it, and I would be hosting it. I hope you all know those two people that decided to say that we copied the GBA. You're horrible people, but I wish you well, because I'm a nice person. Anyways, why don't we jump in with our panelists? We have 3. Well, they're okay, panelists.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. They're all really great. We've got Turk and Ethan and Hallu. Introduce yourselves, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Not in unison.
Alright guys, I'm Hallu. I'm the up-and-coming GOAT, because Zazo, not good. We gotta replace him.
I'm Ethan, aka Redithan. I'm minors coach, replacing David. So hello.
And I am Turkey. I'm back again. Sorry you got to hear my voice again, but
Come on, you know you're blessing us with your presence.
okay, maybe.
Such heavenly words. Anyways, we're jumping into our first segment, which will be the first word. This week's is going to be a tad different than last week. We're going to keep it a little bit more general, but I'm going to bring up a couple of discussion points that I just want you guys to talk about, offer your feedback or ideas on. It won't be as much steel cage fight like last week. That was pretty fun, the steel cage fight, but it's more of just a discussion. So, without further ado, why don't I introduce the first topic. So, the closest game of the week this week. Which one do you believe was the closest, and why?
Okay, I guess I'm up first.
Yep.
I believe that Jolt versus Cheese was the closest game, because even in the end, Jolt had a Gudra versus a Manaphy, and I believe Cheese kind of choked by going for Stealth Rocks. The previous turn, actually, he tried and went for Stealth Rocks instead of Flash Cannon, which, if he went for Flash Cannon, put Gudra in range of Manaphy's Ice Beam, without a crit, but Cheese actually did get lucky and get a crit, which Jolt was guaranteed to live, as he was pretty Spadef invested within his Assault Vest. So he could have taken out the Manaphy, and then Zangoose would have put in, or Cheese wouldn't have had that sack in Manaphy for the Zangoose. And I believe Jolt would have, maybe not 100% won the game, but would have been a little bit more in Jolt's favor. And also the paras on the Jirachi really sealed the game for Jolt, as he could do nothing about that. Yeah, that was probably the closest game.
Alright, next up.
Alright, Jolt versus Wood I think was definitely close, but I personally think the closest game was Abe versus Merc. Right at the end of the game, it came down to 50-50s with Tapu Koko and the Zapdos and Gastrodon. And I think if Merc wins that 50-50 at the end, then he could win the game. I think it might be in his favor. And we saw a cool set come out from the Tapu Koko, but I think if Merc wins 50-50, that he'd win the game. I don't think it would be a 1-0 in Abe's favor.
I think that they're definitely both close, but I'm actually gonna have to agree with Turk. I think that Jolt versus Cheese definitely was the closest. Not because it wasn't necessarily like 50-50s in that case, but I think that the fact that it was more came down to hacks, I think that was really more so made it closer, just because that the one with Cheese and Jolt, that really had nothing to do with skill. That just it just was up to the game at that point. And so yeah, I'm just going to say that I think that one was closer just because of that.
Alrighty, very well. I missed the steel cage fighting from last week, but that is okay by me. Good, calm discussion this week. We've got
just warming up.
Yeah, just warming up for. Ooh, it's gonna get scary later. So who surprised you this week the most, and why?
Okay, so who who I think surprised me the most is actually Razor Wolf, because I didn't think he would have the cojones to, stay in with Fortress on the Arcanine, because getting that Toxic off was really a crucial late game for Mamoswine and other mons. I'm kind of bunking out right now, but other mons to kill the Arcanine, and but Razor, Verd is very, very educated in this game, and to beat Verd is honestly an accomplishment, so I think Razor really impressed me this week. The Thunder set really put in work, and yeah.
Next up.
I go now? Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think Razor did play well, but I think the biggest, most impressive thing was Razor's use of the Furfur, however it's said. When you get that much value with such a low point mon, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive how he used it so well, and how he played with it so well, and how he was able to gain advantage from such a low point mon.
Alright. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to say, for my biggest surprise, I'm just gonna say Blake versus Maddie in general. It's just like with the like what Hallu was saying about Furfu. In this match, we really just saw kind of Rampardos and Drampa kind of do things, and I think when you look at those, we didn't see Rampardos do things, but you brought Rampardos. Maddie brought Drampa. Drampa actually did things. Rampardos never really saw the light of day, but I just thought it was surprising with those matchups. I think that mainly just kind of seeing some lower tier mons do work. Maddie also brought the Archaeops and everything, and it was just kind of cool to see some lesser used mons go in there. And I think Blake getting the 4-0 against Maddie was definitely a huge surprise, just because how good Maddie is, and Blake definitely did well in that. Sorry, this is my first time, so I'm trying to. I'm not very good at this. I'm sorry, but
it's okay. There's a first for everything, and I'm sure you know all about that. Anyways, let's be a coach today. We're gonna be a coach. We're not gonna go into that. Alright, so be a coach. What I want you guys to do is pretend that you are going to be one of these major coaches, the one that I tell you that you will be, and you're going to live their life fully. You're going to do their jobs, you're going to go to their schools, you're going to do everything. No, I'm just kidding. You're just going to pretend that you're going to be them next week. So their week 3 matchup, just take a look at them and think about what kind of strategies you might use, how you might prepare, how you'd rebound after a loss or a win, whatever it may be. So, let's start with you, Hallu. After a tough loss to Cheese this week, how would you rebound going into next week if you're Jolt?
Okay, if I'm Joel, I lost the game. It was pretty close. I think I lost the hacks. We really don't know what happened if I did hacks. Well, we kind of know, but it's only theory mon. The first thing I would do is hire a ghost. After that, I would try to make a hyper-offensive prep to try to win the game, especially because I'm not too happy with Jolt's matchup into Togevar. So I would try to go on the offensive and play to win, maybe with a cool set like Calm Mind, Thunder, Jirachi to learn a Slowbro, so I could try to sweep Rock Boss, Brachion or something. And go in and try to pressure Togevar and play to win and not play to not lose. I think Togevar has really good threats like Mawile and stuff against Jolt's defensive core. So I think it'd be important for this week for Jolt to play to win and not play to not lose.
Alrighty, very well. Now, next up, Turk. It was a really rough week for Maddie. We know he lost 4-0, but how would you rebound to ensure that such a loss like that would not happen again, or at least not happen next week?
Okay, so if I'm Maddie, I obviously would not skip leg day, because me versus Mono would be an absolute beating on Mono's part. If he battles me on a day I don't skip leg day, he has no chance. Because Scolipede, if you look at his team and you look back at SD, Aquatail, Earthquake, and Poison Jabber, Megahorn, Scolipede, he really has nothing for that. Just if I catch something on a Switch or something like an SD and just actually put in the work versus his team, maybe Trick Room into Crobatable also puts in a ton of work with BQ for the Toxapex, stuff like that, But the most important thing is not skip leg day and also pump the iron, you feel me?
Anyways, Anyways, Ethan.
That is me.
Last but kinda least. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
He's last but not least. He's great. Ethan. Razor and the Beware has got a well-deserved win this week. How does he keep the momentum going?
Well, to start, not getting cocky. Last week, Razor, he got a very good win against Verd. However, part of that was due to the crazy prediction, like we talked about before, with like the going for Toxic with the Fortress on the Arcanine, and I think that Razor just can't get it ahead of himself in this one, because oftentimes those kind of predictions won't work out for you, and just going in and getting shoddy, he's just gonna have to, I think, play a bit safer, just in the fact that say he loses his Fortress or his Entei to like a misprediction, then he just then he pretty much drops to Comfy. Like all jokes aside, Shoddy just has like a bunch of threats, I feel, that could really make Razor pay if he ends up sacking something important, which if you look at Shoddy's team, he has the Mega King, he has the Latias, he has the Volcarona, he has the Comfy. All of those can really do damage to Razor's team if he loses a Mon that's kind of important to stop those. So I think Razor's biggest goal is just to kind of play a bit safer and just make sure he doesn't lose to pretty much all of Shoddy's threats, because he has quite a few of them.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for making your responses. Now we've got the lightning round. And why do we call it the lightning round? Because we don't know how to conduct ourselves.
You're not
Sounds
wrong.
about right.
Actually, I think we do. I've got some order right here, lightning round. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut the amount of time you guys get to speak to 20 seconds, because I've done this long enough. I've noticed that 30 seems to kind of be too much most of the time. So we're going to go to 20. You guys are going to make a response to these maybe controversial ideas or topics. We'll just see what you think, take a stance, and we'll go from there. And there are no hard feelings, especially against, we'll get to that later. Anyways, I actually forgot my phone this week. It's upstairs, so I'm going to have to use this timer on the computer, and hopefully it works. It better work. Alright, so now that we got this all set up, first thing I gotta say is the order will be Turk, Hallu, and Ethan. Now the first topic for you to discuss. Abe won solely due to the Iapapa berry. Like, he had no other way of winning. That was the game clincher. Go.
Okay, so the Iapapa berry, or however you pronounce it, is really safe in the game. I do think it would have helped. I do think it actually won him the game, because we don't know the Nido King set, and it most likely couldn't kill Gastrodon, and it just pretty much dropped to an Earthquake, so the Iapapa berry saved it from taking recoil damage from Wild Charge, and
That's new. Did you have any final remarks? Like, I'm not going to totally cut you off.
no,
That's it? Okay, cool. That is a very different noise. That is an explosion going off. So when you hear the explosion, you might want to start to wrap it up. All right, next.
Alright, I think the Iapapa berry definitely helped him out a lot, but I don't know if necessarily won him the game. Like, Abe's playing the game knowing he has an Iapapa berry, right? So he gets to make plays that he might not otherwise make. Maybe he doesn't let Scissor die to a Heat Ray from Zapdos or anything. Maybe he just goes hard Coco and then pressures that way, and then lets Scissor clean up the Lucario and Gastrodon. So I don't know if I would necessarily credit the winning. I do think it was a really good ring, and I do think it helped him gain an advantage and close out the game.
Cool.
I think that in the Smash, or in the set he brought in particular, yes, I think it did definitely win him the game in terms of the fact that he had the Wild Charge. However, I'm not really sure why he exactly brought the Wild Charge, because just looking at the battle itself, nothing on Merc's team necessarily warranted Wild Charge much over Thunderbolt, in my opinion. Like, he had the Miltank, things that was probably going to be his death and all that, but Yeah, I think that he should have just run special, and it really wouldn't have mattered that much. But
all right,
yeah.
Way to use 30 seconds, Ethan. That's okay though. No worries.
Sorry.
No worries. I want you guys to get your thoughts out. It's just kind of a rough benchmark. Anyways, our next question / topic. So Razor made the gutsiest play of the week by toxicking the Arcanine with the Fortress. No play was more risky. Like this was the cream of the crop, the best, the most risky. Go.
Okay, so I think the toxic on the Arcanine mattered, but not too much because if you see late game, the Mamoswine didn't really outspeed Arcanine, but he missed the Will-O-Wisp, which didn't matter since it was banded and killed anyways. So I don't think the toxic mattered too much. It mattered to put it in like range of stuff, but I think the Earthquake killed regardless. So
that is pretty funny. I gotta get my phone next week. This is kind of funny, but I'm not using this every week.
I like the noise though.
Yeah. Next up.
It definitely was the riskiest play in my opinion. I don't know if it was necessary to take that risk per se because he did have the Aerodactyl still. And also because we could see it so much from late game, right, helped against an Lego, and it was still a hard wall against the Cortana. So it was a big risk. It paid off in the end, but I don't know if it was necessarily like the risk versus reward was necessarily justified.
Next.
Yeah, I'm definitely have to say that was a really, really risky play. I don't think it was that. It wasn't that unfathomable that the Arcanine was going to go for the toxic there because it seems that like a switch into Latios or Aerodactyl was pretty obvious. But just considering what Fortress did to the rest of Verg's team, I think that it was really, really important that Razor kept Fortress around. So I think it was definitely risky.
You thought what was risky?
I thought it was definitely a risky play, and I don't think it was all that necessary to risk it at that point.
All right.
Yeah.
Very well. And our last topic for the day, with the team matchup, amazing performance by Decidueye, if I pronounce that correctly, that is, and Gypsy's amazing talent. Shoddy had no chance this week. And by the way, these are not my opinions. I am just giving things out there. So Shoddy, don't beat me up, beat them up. Go.
Okay, so I think Shoddy actually stood no chance because Gypsy, 2-time champion, holding the crown, as you could say, because he's the king. But with the prep and stuff, I think Gypsy really stood above Shoddy in that battle. Scarf Lando really coming in clutch at the end, and
Yep. That's good. Go ahead.
Alright, so I don't want to ever say anyone never has a chance against anyone, because we never know. Shorty might be the next coming GOAT, and he might be the best ever, and then we all sat here and said he didn't have a chance. But I think, in hindsight, the way we looked at this game, I think Gypsy was more prepared for the more situations and brought things he needed to win, while Shorty didn't seem to have as good prep. So I think this game, particularly...
He really did take a beating, didn't you just hear that blow? Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to say I think Shoddy definitely did have a chance. I think in the matchup, Shoddy definitely could have won this game. I just think the way he prepped though did not give him that chance. I don't really understand the parabolic charge Heliolisk. I don't really understand why he brought that. I think that Kang should have been more of an offensive set because he's already got like Healing Wish on like Latios and Shaman if he wanted to run that. I don't think the Wish support for him is necessary. He's could have been more of an attacker, I believe. And
Alright.
so, yeah,
that is the end of 20 seconds. So, alright, I think we're pretty much at the end here. So, yeah, how was it? How was it for your first time on the show? How was it, Ethan?
I had no idea what to say.
You didn't prepare for that question. Okay, well, I'll make an answer for you. I'm sure it was quite an exercise for you, but the only exercise he got today was being able to jump to conclusions about players in this league on the show.
Oh shit.
All right, well, I think my work here is done for the day. So, I gotta go meme and do some other things today. So, you guys have any final words?
Yes, vote for me, and I'll buy you a Miku body pillow.
Sorry, you can go.
Well, I'm a lot better at battling than I am at doing analysts. So, yeah, just like to put that out there. At least I think. I hope.
Okay.
Self-deprecating humor doesn't exactly get you anywhere.
I cannot say that I'm better at battling than I am at analysts, or speaking. So just vote for me for a nice boost of confidence. That would be much appreciated. I'm still hiring for a ghost. So let me know.
I am a ginger, so.
Whoa.
Ooh, why didn't you? That's a sellable point. Why didn't you bring that up?
I did now. But if you wanting the redeeming qualities, here you go.
Alright, well, I think we're pretty much good for the day then. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and thank you for joining me, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe to the NPL channel. We'll see you next week. Or will we? Dun dun dun! You will, actually. Spoilers.
Oh boy.